This time, His Excellency Mr. Gregory Peter Obi has not spared President Bola Tinubu. He has not spared to call the president out over the obvious failure and gross incapacitation in the management of the affairs of governance in Nigeria, which has adversely brought nothing but poverty, pains, lack, and hunger in the land of Nigeria of today. Peter Obi has maintained that hunger and poverty are no longer two distant, statistics that millions of Nigerians face on daily basis in this country. Now, before we dive into bigger details in this section, do not forget that I have always informed you that President Bola Tinubu is the architect of his own problem. Yes, a man who claimed he prepared to be the president of this country for 30 years. But unfortunately, there was actually no preparation. In fact, the preparation was to buy the election or to win the election, whichever way you want to interpret it. At the end of the day, a man who is supposed to be a leader on the day of inauguration in 2023 on national television told Nigerians that subsidy is gone.
No provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
Without any clue on how Nigerian state works. And since that very day till this moment, prices of commodities in Nigeria continues to skyrocket. It has never come down. Things keep getting hard and harder for an average Nigerian. Okay, we all believe that probably it was a mistake or it was a statement that was made out of the gross 30 years preparation with a blueprint on how to salvage this country. But from what we have seen so far, it is evident that there was no preparation because the government of Alhaji Bola Tinubu is simply gambling with the lives of Nigerians. Yes. Okay. Subsidy was removed, both from petrol, from electricity, but up to today, the amount of money that President Bola Tinubu is borrowing is much more than what the former president, the late president, General Muhammadu Buhari borrowed, even while he was still cushioning and paying for subsidy. But you claim that subsidy is gone. So both on petrol and on electricity. So where is the money going to? How can we just oppose that the subsidy was actually removed and the billions of naira that were being used for the payment of fuel subsidy is now affecting the lives of an average Nigerian positively? So there is a disconnect somewhere. If you begin to look at the whole situation, you will understand that it is more of trial and error, more of gambling than intentional, dedicated leadership of capacity. Now, according to Peter Obi, posted on his X handle, formerly Twitter, he wrote, "In our country today, hunger and poverty are not just distant statistics. They are the harsh reality that millions of our people face daily. Recently, the United Nations stated that about 34 million Nigerians will face acute food insecurity and about 63% of our population, which is about 133 million people, now live in multidimensional poverty. Inflation, even with the suppressed statistics, is nearly 30%, while unemployment and economic mismanagement have nearly wiped out our once vibrant middle class. Families who once lived stable lives are now sleeping in poverty. But this is not just ordinary. It is as a result of incompetent leadership without capacity and compassion, who are not interested in putting the Nigerian people first in their actions. Other nations have faced similar challenges and turned their fortunes around through disciplined leadership, sound economic policies, and a total commitment from the leaders to invest in human development and pulling their people out of poverty. A recent example is what is happening in Argentina. In Argentina, over 52% of its population lived in poverty by early 2024, according to the World Bank, With millions of Argentines unable to meet basic needs, inflation was above 200% and economic confidence had collapsed. Yet, within 2 years, through decisive action to cut waste in governance and prioritize economic stability, the newly inaugurated president was able to cut down the poverty rate to 38.1% from 52% in just 2 years, and extreme poverty fell to 8.2%, with inflation just around 2 to 3% monthly. As of 2025, the urban poverty had declined to 31.6%, lifting millions of people out of poverty. Investor confidence grew and the economy began to grow. The people now see real improvement in their daily lives. Both Argentina and the current Nigerian leadership assume office in the same year, and this proves what I have always stated, that 2 years may not be enough to change a nation with a 100% turnaround, but it is more than enough to kickstart the transformation journey that will change the fortune of our dear country, with the people witnessing real and genuine change, but only if the leadership is honest, focused, and committed to the people. Nigeria can work, we can reduce hunger, and restore dignity to Nigerians. But this will not happen while corruption and criminality dominate our governance. Our nation requires leaders who will put the people first and manage resources prudently and stand firm in rejecting corrupt practices. Nigeria will work, but only if we as leaders commit to tackling corruption, cutting the cost of governance, and focusing on critical areas of development like education, healthcare, and lifting people out of poverty, just as other nations have done with remarkable results. A new Nigeria is possible. Peter Obi. Shebi una don see am, Tinubu's administration is an incompetent leadership without capacity and compassion. They no dey pity anybody, they just dey do their thing. That's why even after removing fuel subsidy, hunger was everywhere. The man was busy buying private jets, they buy him bulletproof car, they doing things, setting up office of the first lady and all of that. They no send you. Incompetent leadership without capacity and without compassion. They know they pity on any of honor. This Argentina president we are talking about, Javier Gerardo Milei, the same year. But I no go blame anybody. The Argentina president is only 55 years. Alhaji Bola Tinubu, the age when he claims saying get na 73 years. Even we don't know whether the man don't reach 100 years. We don't know for this country. That is what you beget from dishonest leaders, all over the world. Leaders who are dishonest. Leaders who have no interest, for the citizens. We have seen it. Peter Obi, everybody knows about his track record. At some point, Peter Obi has to close down the office of the first lady, telling the wife that you were not the one that was voted by the people. I am the one that they voted into office as a governor. So your office is bringing distraction, wasting money here and there. That is how to know a honest, competent, and decisive leader who really and actually wants the people to prosper. You know what I mean? But inshallah, Peter Obi will remove President Bola Tinubu from office come 2027. If you still doubt him, listen to the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose.
Excuse me, sir. This Peter Obi, I've told you, this Peter Obi, anybody who becomes president of Nigeria and does not give a right of place. I'm not saying an appointment for Peter Obi. Peter Obi will remove that person from office in another election. Mark my words.
So are you saying this same wave?
This same wave will not stop.
Be repeated.
This same wave, this Peter Obi, the people supporting him, the Peter Obi that I know, after this general election, they will continue.
Even though the next cycle of elections is in 4 years.
I'm telling you, those guys.
I'm pretty sure that by now you will understand that Ayo Fayose, was or is one of the few persons who actually saw the future. because 4 people tweeting in a room was the argument and narrative in 2023 until it cleared for their eye for the ballot. Even with all the rigging and everything, with our structure, Peter Obi pulled over 6 million votes. Even with all the INEC nonsense, which I don't want to dive into because that one, they break my heart. 2027 go shock all of them before 12 o'clock. What this administration specializes in is on state capture. They are busy now capturing all parastatals in Nigeria in order to be confident in winning election. I always told you people over time that a typical example was what happened in Lagos State over the years with Ambode. Yes, what was the sin of Governor Ambode, why he was not allowed to contest for second term? It will give you a clue of why when we talk about state capture in this country, many of you still do not understand. Now, I want you to watch this video to understand what actually happened to Ambode and who gave the instruction that Ambode must not go for second term.
This place we are not going to allow anybody to vote for Ambode here. Soloru, and that's what our leader Bola Tinubu said. The party, that is the APC. Yes. We have hierarchy and we have leadership. Yes. We have leaders.
Having seen that video, now you begin to ask yourself, what is actually the sins of Ambode, the former governor of Lagos State? Otherwise, Lagosians and netizens across the nation have already, bore witness that Ambode is one of the most decent governors Lagos State has ever produced. What were his sins? This is where Nigerians must be very grateful to the person of Peter Obi. This is where Nigerians must be grateful to the current ADC coalition, grateful to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, grateful to Rotimi Amechi and El Rufai for taking this bold step of, galvanizing and forming this coalition. And most importantly, grateful to Peter Obi, who has stood his ground as a singular sole opposition leader, constructively criticizing this administration, giving them advice in most cases in order to put them in the right track. Otherwise, what would have happened in Nigeria is this: we would have all migrated into a one-party system where one man will be in charge of who becomes what in this country, Nigeria, just as you have seen in Lagos State with the case of Ambode. So we must be grateful to Peter Obi, and Peter Obi is not joking when he speaks. Peter Obi has always been spitting out facts and figures the way it is. Therefore, whether you like it or not, we have also seen signs, testament and revelations, which we have always been seeing right from 2023, which was evident that Peter Obi won the 2023 presidential election. Even many members of the coalition now, who were part and parcel of APC government as at then, are all bearing witness to that. A typical example is Rotimi Amechi, El Rufai, and the rest of them. That is the Nigeria we are living in for you. But unfortunately, 2027, like somebody said, is going to be tit for tat. According to Charlie Boy, rig and buy, where you rig, you go die. I sincerely hope that Nigerians are going to be prepared in that direction to vote and defend their vote at all costs. Well, at this point, we are looking forward to a new Nigeria under Peter Obi. As you watch this video, don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. My another person, Siam. God bless you.